Hello, this is Peter Hill here at the Broken Hill Library, and I've brought up a Word document and I'm recording it from Screensaver, a Microsoft option to record games. You can actually record your Word documents as you're going across. I've decided to do that more than actually go through PowerPoint. Just starting a PowerPoint here. You won't be able to see me go through a PowerPoint. I have the general ideas in this PowerPoint, but it's not as, I don't know, not as synced and down to the actual basics of it. Okay, so we have a cognitive network transaction classification. So if I say something, or I hear something, or there's a thought, or there's lots of argy-bargy between various people, you can define one or two people as a network, a cognitive network of minds, and as they communicate with each other, they have transactions, or in some cases you can have a thought in your own head and it just goes around, and that would be, it goes out but then comes in. It's a way of that. And the idea is that you want to classify these thoughts, to measure them, and then assign them and get some sort of map of what's going on. So the general idea that I had before is that we're sort of cognitively working in a cottage industry, and we've got little bog lords and feudal. It's a more medieval way that we're talking. We go through here. Now we have a particular transaction here. I think you'll be able to see it here. A coherent scientific inductive analysis that synthesized showing candor to refute. So what I've done is I've used the developer, added the developer tab to Word, and then I've added drop downs. You can add a drop down here, and once you've got the drop down, you add properties to it here. So this is ideally what a scientist would do. They would have a coherent way of talking, so you could actually see the logic, or you'd be able to find it's coherent by actually checking every step. It would be scientific in that it would be proven by third person or invention. It may be inductive in that they suggest something which they're not quite sure, invent a new thing, and they test it. Analysis is something which describes how something's worked. It's synthesized, and we're just going this way. It's something where he's actually working, or he or she's working it up in their head, and they've got candor in terms of they understand what the actual quality of what they're doing, their degree of expertise. When they make a statement, they don't make a bold statement, and they're using it, say, in this case, say, to refute. In my case, perhaps someone's a vaccine denier, and they come up with an idea, and you refute it. Okay, so let's go here. Let's change a few things here. With this, I can now drop down, and I'm going to say a locally. So now this is a locally coherent. I'm going to change this to social. So a social criteria, a scientist will test it, a social person will do the same test, but on social media. They'll all check their friends, or my friends say, or the people in my parent group believe this, or the parents believe this. I'm going to change abductive. So I've got here deductive, inductive, and just going here, deductive. So deductive, inductive, abductive, and seductive are general things, and then I've got variations on that which to fit in with the various things. So I'm going to call it abductive. So locally coherent, social abductive, and we're going to say it's an account. You're saying, posting on social media, so-and-so spanked their cat, and they're going to receive it, transmit it, idea, they're going to put it on it, and they're going to show dissonance. How could that person possibly have spanked their cat? And see, to refute, to assert that that person is an idiot. So that's a different thing. It's a different transaction. Well, let's go on another one. We'll go an incoherent. Now this may not be true, but an incoherent. I was going to say logical. I'm just going to put it through here and see how it goes. A logical. So a logical thing is to say, look, if you have done this, and this is the law, this means that. It's where you work it out, and just for the story, I'll call it preductive. So preductive is where you actually tell a story very similar to the story you want to do, and you bias people to that way of thinking by having a analogy ahead, and let's see, it's trying to count a diversion. Call it that you've heard, you've received, showing cognitive blanking. Okay, to just running out a bit of space here. To come on, oh, a bit more space here. Here we go. To proffer something. That's to suggest something. So this is a version of it coming across here. So it's incoherent, it's logical because it's using the reasoning, it's productive. So you're telling something, a story very similar to the story you want to do, and you get the person to, if this is true, then that's true. Diversion, you've received it. It's showing cognitive blanking, that is, where there's certain things, say like maths, people cognitively blank maths all the time. They pretend it's not there. Cognitive blanking famously is not seeing ships of the conquistadors or thing, and you're proffering it, you're offering it. Okay, the final thing I want to say here, so you've got here, you can see the different colours here, and I'm saying in CNC options are called cognates. So for the cognative mode, you can have narrative, social, scientific, logical cognates, and they're analogous to genes and DNA. So they have a function and they have different flavors of them. So the general idea is that you've got a network, but you also have a classification. So you can see ideas go through the network, but you can sort of classify them. You can imagine them as different colors. So I'm just going to store this and upload it and put it to the internet and get some feedback from people who see how it's going. Thanks a lot for listening.